a sewer well, like Mansour did, we need a variance to a well here that we didn't know about originally. It's tucked into the shrubbery here for the Fisher property, so that variance is needed. A variance to the Luke Jordan, their own well, right here, which Mansour also needed. And lastly, a little less important in my mind, you might disagree with me, but we need setback variances from the tanks to the dwelling and the property line. Those are the sort of mundane variances compared to the water supply variances in my mind. Now, those are the new variances. What if we had to permit the old system, which is right there where those tanks are? I'll sort of walk you through this.
Okay, good.
There's where the old system is, next to the house. We need 2 variances to the lake and 2 variances to wells. So we need 4 water supply variances and 4 tank variances. So we need 8 if we kept the system where it was. We need 1 more to this property line right here with the new system compared to the old. So the old system, we would need 2 lake variances,
Right.
2 well variances, plus the tank variances.
Oh,
So there's really not a whole lot of difference, although we're improving the technology greatly.
I do, yeah,
And
right.
the separation of groundwater greatly, and the separation from the lake greatly. So, there is a section which you have in your drawings. A little hard to see from here, but we're replacing, there's a peat system up here on the top. Right there's the peat modules. And we're replacing all the soil down here to get to a controlled soil that we know exactly how it reacts, and it has that interface here. We need all that interface. So that's what this design is based on. What feet is that? We were originally going 7 feet, we're now going 8 feet. A lot of dirt. We get to use this soil, we pull out of the hole, we get to use it around the perimeter for grading and landscaping and just covering the system up. So it's not wasted.
How many cubic feet of dirt are you replacing?
Oh, boy. Didn't calculate that number. I could probably. Oh,
It's not bad. I just wondering how.
300.
Cubic yards.
Oh,
It would be an easier way.
Yeah.
Cubic yards.
No, it's I'll try to have that number next time.
Can I assume that this is a pretty expensive system that they're putting in? I'm just,
All of the enhanced systems are expensive.
well, that's what I thought.
They are. No way around.
Well,
How long does the feed water system last?
The modules themselves last for probably 40 or 50 years. They're plastic. High density polyethylene plastic. The peat inside is the key treatment component. The company says that they've seen at least 15 years for year round. They think the seasonal systems, including up north, where biologic activity is slightly less than down south, they think it lasts at least 20 years.
It's gonna be up to the residents to constantly clean that out.
And it's supposed to be inspected routinely by an authorized representative of Purifier.
Well, yes, because we've done a bunch of work down there. We were 6 inches in the soil, and we can smell the septic from all the properties leaching right through the water.
On Luke Jordan?
I think he's just saying properties in general.
It could very well be. I mean, there's a lot of systems in there that are old and
Yeah,
we're
a lot of them need addressed.
not the best systems to begin with. Some of the individual components, some of the pumping and piping things may need to be replaced periodically like any mechanical system.
Yep.
That's one of the reasons we don't go to a mechanical system as right out of the gate, because it does require more maintenance and O&M over time. We go to the most passive system we can find and work our way up the ladder, and more sophisticated if we have to.
Questions? Now, you will be here next month when we have our public hearing.
I will be here. Hopefully Cedarwood will get back to me with comments that are readily addressable, and we'll schedule.
Right, so that's why I tried to dropped all that paperwork off to them yesterday, because I felt that way they have plenty of time to work, at plenty of time to get in touch with you. And because You know, you could go
Exactly.
back and forth, so, yes.
Maybe I'm ahead of the game, but does the board have any particular, if I confused you, or do you have any concerns or questions that I address?
Well, it seems like pretty much similar, basically the one you put next door.
It is almost like
Right,
that.
so we should go, we'll go take a look at
And we
it.
did go last time, and we found it did make a
I
difference.
welcome you to do that.
Oh, we
I welcome
will,
you to
we
do
will.
that. And I'm sure Mark Mansour and Jordan and Luke would not mind that at all.
Mhm. Well, I just find that you kind of know what you're looking at. We sit and look at this and you think, okay, that sounds good. But when you go and look at the property, like we were shocked last time that where part of the system looked like it was like part of their lawn almost,
Yeah,
you know, so it was like,
now, if you look, no, upside down, I don't know. The code for distress in my part. The property narrows down, you get towards Saturday Road,
right,
you know, the lake is down here, this narrows down, so it really constrains what we can do.
right. Yeah, we noticed that when we were there before, so. Okay, board, any questions, Josh?
We're gonna send this to Cedar with per usual.
It's already gone.
Okay.
Made sure it got
We
there.
just don't have the results from that yet.
They just started.
I just dropped it off yesterday.
Okay.
That's why I dropped it off. It gives them a whole month to work.
I don't expect the approval till tomorrow morning.
Dream on, Tom.
Dream on.
And then I just think the only other thing is kind of what Marty usually brings up, but I'll take that away from him this time. is just, Who's gonna make sure we do the checkups, yearly?
Well, what we did with the last couple is we had a letter, they signed it, it had to be put in their file, and it was up to the CEO to have it in a file. He would go back at the end of whatever, was it 1 year, 2 years, and check it over to see that it was due.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second,
Go
if you
ahead.
don't mind. The BOSA system, which we use for Jaeger in the north part of the town,
Yep, I know.
they absolutely have to have their membranes cleaned once a year.
Right,
And a seasonal system is twice a year, because they start it up in the spring and they shut it down in the
Right.
fall. PureFlow, Anua recommends these be inspected every year. We found a number of owners don't do that.
right,
In fact, I inspected one on Tongue Mountain where the guy, we put it in, we designed it 10 years ago for the guy, never had anybody visit,
okay,
but he needed to have it inspected for property transfer under Bolton's law.
okay,
I went out and looked at it, it looked great, after 10 years, it was working fine. So 1 year may not, may be cautious, but I would say every few years is absolutely necessary.
well, we can certainly discuss that as we go along and decide.
I was welcome talking with Manua about that too, I may open that discussion with Manua, but we can talk to Cedarwood about it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, I think if you confer with them, we can kind of come up with maybe a better idea that we don't have to.
It might be slightly onerous to require it every year,
Well,
but every few years would make a lot of sense.
I agree with you on that.
And then don't we also sometimes require to go into the deed, how often we want them to inspect? Or we not go that far?
No, we did not go that far,
Okay.
no. Ginger?
Okay, so Tom, you are on the Lakeford Park Commission Advisory Committee
I am.
for septic. And I've
As
been
are you.
spending, no, I'm actually not. I was
Oh, you
at
can
the
participate?
meeting, yeah.
Okay, fine.
But I think one of the things that has been talked about is rather than putting the onus on the town and the CEO of all the individual towns, is to require that the homeowner sign a contract with the company that puts it in. So if you've got a contract, then you know what's going to happen.
Which we have done in many towns, and we did do that with Mansour system, I believe, as I recall. We did it with Busa for sure.
Yeah, we did, I remember that one.
And I just want to iron out that timeframe.
Okay, but I mean, I'm just trying to take the onus off of the CEO because things can slip through the cracks. Whereas the company, if they're getting paid to go inspect it every year, you're going to be sure they're going to do it.
Now, I'm on the record, but let me, some homeowners cancel those contracts, so the CEO
Well, they should keep an eye on it.
in each
so-
town is still not off the hook.
Okay.
It
Maybe
does-
some double,
It does put
double
some
checks.
pressure on the homeowner. Yes.
We just plan to raise the property down there. Like light raising part of the land and get an infiltrated system, plumbing system. Because I believe the homeowner association down there has a clause that they're no longer allowed to bring fill in there.
Which, Saturday?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, Tom.
I don't know
I've
anything
checked,
about
I
that.
would check with that, and the other is, I feel that the resident should have it this area, it's basically all wetland. We just did a lot of intensive work down there to catch rainwater.
On the inner part of the point,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, that's all. I'll ask the question about the fill and check about that.
All right, anyone else? All right, then we're going to set a public hearing for next month. Nancy, do you know what date our meeting is in October? Any idea? I don't either.
October.
Yeah, October, second Tuesday, it would be 6:15.
Okay.
Steve will give us the date and then we'll be all set.
It's October 12th.
Okay, October 12th, so you need a motion for that, Nancy, for the public hearing?
Sometimes planning boards do that, I don't think it'll hurt.
All right, so then, would someone make the motion that we'll set the public hearing for 6:15 on October 12th? Jack will make the motion, second to the motion. Second, Josh, all those in favor? Aye, opposed, carried. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. We'll see you next month. If you have questions, you'll contact like our zoning person or get a hold of Cedarwood if the two of you have.
Still Catholic, right, for the moment?
You know, she's working with Matthew. So
I haven't met Matthew yet, but I've heard good things, and he's learning fast.
yeah, he is. He's working hard at it. So I think we're lucky that we got him. So.
Yeah, just one more thing, I believe that the Army Corps of Engineers also can weigh in when you fill. The APA and the Army Corps of Engineers.
In a wetland, we're not filling a wetland.
Okay, if you're near a wetland, so.
No, actually, we're not near a wetland here. No, but it's correct, there is a wetland on the inner point of part of the point.
What'd you say?
It's only wet when it rains.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. I would like a motion to
Very
pay.
good, have a good night.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Tom.
Tom.
We'll see you next month. A motion to pay the general highway and sewer claims in the amount of $303,027.61. Steve made the motion, second to the motion. Jack, second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. I need a motion to accept the minutes as printed, subject to corrections for August 10th. And I forgot the transfer station. That was the 30th.
They're all right there.
But that was the 30th, right? I just want to make sure I have it. Yep.
I have August 10th,
And the 30th.
September 10th for the bid opening, I don't know if that means approval, and August 30th.
Okay. So as long as we have the August 30th, we need to. So all right, I'd like a motion then that we will accept the minutes. Steve made a motion, Jack seconded the motion, that additions or corrections to the minutes. If anyone has anything they want to change, speak now. All right, all those in favor? Aye, opposed, carried. Thank you. Don't all speak at once now. All right, now we'll go on to our regular committee reports. I didn't have much other than just had like one sheet from the assessor just saying like the transfers. I thought I had it right here. Oh, that they had done address changes, 4 bank code updates, 5 miscellaneous updates. She said it was a pretty quiet month, but they've been compiling a list of current building permits and COs, which will, Dave will have to follow up for the upcoming assessment season. He's thinking of going out early in the fall to assess the homes that are completed with COs. She is still working on her list of vacation rentals in the town, and she found some unusual things that are being rented out that are kind of off the radar, and all of a sudden you go on the computer and you find somebody's renting out space in your front yard for tenants and that type of thing. So anyway, that's what they've been up to. Oh, Marty, you will be happy to hear this. They did decide it's time for a reval. Came in to me and said, I can't put this off any longer because of all of what's happening and the numbers that have been coming in on properties. And I said, Marty will be so happy to hear that. So anyway, we will be then moving forward in that direction of doing a reval.
Great.
Yep. So, well, how many years have you been talking about it?
Long time.
I know a long time, Marty.
I've been on the board for 10, so.
Yeah, so there you go. But anyway, I'm glad we're moving forward with that. Yes.
What is the cost to the town to do a reval?
He is checking into that and he's getting back to us. There's a fellow that's over in Horkin now, who's from Skinny Atlas, who's doing a reval over there, and I'm not sure if he worked on a reval for Chestertown or not, but he was getting in touch with him, trying to get us some information. So it's not cheap, I'll be honest with you.
Sure.
So he's going to come back to us with some figures, but it's something we definitely have to do at this point.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, buildings and grounds. Marty, Josh?
I noticed that sign, the new sign at Maine Memorial Cemetery recently. I think it looks beautiful.
I think he did a nice job, and what he wanted to do is that you could see it from both sides, like when you're coming up from Hague or coming in from Ticonderoga, and I think he certainly captured that.
I'm sort of hoping we're gonna keep the old sign now, but that was just my thought.
Well, we're taking the other one down because I just feel it doesn't look, I mean, even if you want to put it in a different location, but I think if we keep the old one, it's too close to what the new one is, it kind of just takes away from it.
Maybe we could put it aside, just tucked away, just for the history of it.
And there's not a problem with that.
Just a thought.
I had planned on throwing it away, I just knew it kind of needed to come down because of where it was placed, so thank you, I'm glad you noticed that. Marty, anything?
And,
Okay, highway, I guess nobody else is here. Tim, maybe you could fill us in.
What do you want?
See what happens when you come? Well, you can tell us about all your paving up at Saturday Point,
Yeah.
which, by the way, I've heard very good reports from. They were pleased with the job you've done.
Well,
trying to get us where we need to be, so, thank you. Town park, beautification, Steve, all that good stuff, we'll let you wrap it all up there in one thing.
We just finished the Lake George Open Water Swim, which was pretty much a success. There were 360 registered swimmers. There were 26 states that were represented in 3 countries. They couldn't anybody get from Canada this year because of the COVID, but that'll be changed hopefully again next year. They had 23 safety kayakers went out and 8 safety boats, which was nice. They took a survey of the participants, and with 5 being the top rating, the whole survey came out at 4.91, as did the Hay Beach came out at 4.91, which was the highest rating. 99% of the people said they'll return next year, 30% overnighted in Hay. Next year, August 20th, will be a 2.5K, a 5K, and the 10K will be the United States Masters Swimming National Championship. So Chris is doing a good job, and we look forward to that.
What'd you say, what date, and
August 20th.
What I like about it, he's very organized.
Oh, it's very.
I mean, it's
Right,
not like you
right.
have to guess what's going on.
No, he's very organized.
Yep,
The beach and the visitor center have closed. Thanks to visitor center crew for cleaning up the building and putting the papers and everything away. Along that lines, the senior cafe will open on 9/19 in that room and will close on 9/27. The boat launch will be closed on 10/26. And Eric's got the buoys and stuff in, so it's looking nice. And we're looking into different picnic tables next year. We're gonna start getting some of that from budget because a lot of them are broken, falling apart. And so maybe we come up with a better composite one that people are using now that don't rot.
well,
and so on
that's
and
true,
so
they
forth
have a
like
lot
that.
of them out there.
Oh, yeah. So we're gonna take a look at that. So that's really it for the beach and the park, and it was a good year. Again, the boat launch will close on the 16th
The 16th,
of 10/16.
okay, just want to be sure. All right, thank you, Steve. Jack, sewer district 1 and 2.
We have 2 properties that are not yet connected,
Mhm.
and the CEO will be addressing that on as he gets acclimated to the position. And we expect to get those completed this year.
Good, I think we've done a pretty good job considering where we started out, and how many that we didn't have hooked up, so I think we can be
If we
proud.
get those, when we get those 2, we'll be done with those 22 original.
Right, we will be, so that'll be great. All right, thank you, Jack. Steve, did you have anything on that environmental concerns that you didn't bring to our attention?
Well, the knotweed is done. Jamie helped Lake George's Masters with that, but really that's about the only thing we're working on right now.
Are we putting money in the budget for next year for
Oh, we
that?
will.
Because I'm noticing as I drive around, I hate to tell you, it seems like it's every
It's
post.
everywhere. When it blooms, it's everywhere. This is a situation where it's a battle. It's gonna be hard to fight, hard to win.
Yeah, I wonder, because even the side roads, it's not, I mean, it's
It's
like,
everywhere.
okay, thank you.
And
Yes,
can I just ask a question? So I know we brought this up before, but, I've noticed it's along the guardrails where I suppose they don't want to mow. That's where they sprayed, and my understanding is that it's Roundup. And I just thought if all the towns wrote to in the bays or on the lake, wrote to DEC and expressed a concern. I mean, I hear it from everyone. I'm concerned about it because a lot of times the road is very close to the.
is that what they're using? I don't know.
I don't know what they're using. It's-
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think,
Well, I'm not blaming the town, I'm saying the town should write to DOT and find out what it is and express concern.
okay, we can certainly do that. That's not a difficult thing. I wasn't aware of that.
Well, I guess I would have a concern of them not doing anything as much as concerned in what they're using. If they don't do anything, nobody's gonna be able to walk on the road.
It's not the knotweed, it's just
I know,
everywhere.
that's what I mean. If the state doesn't kill whatever along the guardrails, you or I won't be able to walk along the road because it grows right out into the road.
Well, I've been watching it, I mean, there's no mowing I mean, you get to the guardrail and there's nothing growing, and you go beyond the guardrail and it's like.
No, I mean, I agree that there's a problem with that too. I mean, I see people walk across the house and by the motel, they're halfway on the road because there's no place for them to walk. Because the brush and half of them have prickers on them and there's no, the state's not doing anything.
Well, maybe we could at least find out what they're using to kill the weeds along the guardrail.
So we should contact DOT and see what we can come up with, what they're using and why they aren't doing more, I would say. Okay, thank you, Ginger. All right, Josh, what'd you find out on our charging stations?
And you had stated last week that, and I'm in agreement with what you stated, that if the town wanted to, we could get anywhere between 80 and 100% of these covered through grants and rebates. So today I attended what is called ANCA. That's a company, a workshop via Zoom. Basically, it was on clean energy communities and community development. And what I'm finding is that there's a few different reasons we would want to do this. First is just to make our community more attractive for residents and visitors. And the same would piggyback on just being more environmentally friendly. The next aspect is, and it's sustainable energy, you know, as we get further into the 21st century here. I believe it would, in the future, at least help support businesses. So people are traveling through the Adirondacks. What happens is you get placed on a network and you'll have an app on your phone and you'll see Hague pop up as an EV charging station. So when you go to this EV charging, so then they'll say, oh, well, I could go and have lunch at the Hague Market or Firehouse and I can get a little quick charge on my car while I'm doing it, or hotels and motels will be another aspect of it all. So that's another reason we would want to try to continue, or I think it would be a good idea. I did just touch base with Donna Wanton by email. She works with the Ticonderoga Revitalization Alliance. And she just handles a lot of the economic development for our area here. And she's in agreement with all these. Per year, per quarter. So that covers your network fee. So that will put you on one of those apps, for instance, that shows people traveling that, hey, Hague's a spot you can go to get a charge. That also handles your how but the other thing that I was looking into is, you know, the plowing and the shoveling in the winter time. If we were to do that, that's a maintenance cost that was brought to my attention. I specifically asked them if they need like some sort of maintenance, like yearly operational troubleshooting, or, and my answer I was basically getting was there really isn't much. But I find that a little hard to believe. Just common sense tells me there's going to be some stuff coming up. But I called Ticonderoga, spoke with the supervisor. He forwarded me to the person that handled they installed 2 charging stations. And it's not a moneymaker, as Edna stated last week. It's not a moneymaker at all. We'll probably break even. But I think even though we're not going to make money on it, you know, they're not making money in Ticonderoga, but I think that, it would be a real positive thing for our town. And the last thing that was brought to my attention is, if you can become what's called a clean energy community, you can qualify for more grants. So there's four points that you can be part of to become clean energy efficient as in terms of a clean energy community. So this is one of the points, that be an EV charging station town. And I mean, there are people that can help walk you through it. It's kind of what I was learning at the Zoom workshop today. And I'm happy to try to take care of any questions, or should anyone have any. But the biggest thing is just would be sustainability for, you know, the future. Instead of, hey, eventually getting a gas station, we'll have charging stations. And I had thought about going to the business owners and, you know, just asking them all what they thought about it. But I guess I wanted to talk to the board first and make sure that, you know, where would we be proposing putting these. And I mean, they're about the size of a parking meter, so it's not like they're ugly, but in the same sense, I think we would want to, if we went to the business owners and get their opinions. You know, our town's so quiet and quaint, you know, we don't want to put 12 of these out at the Hague Beach, for instance, but I think we should know, hey, we're proposing putting 3 of these things at the town community center, or whatever the idea would be. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to try to figure that out or answer those. Jack?
There's an initial capital cost to install the system. Is that the concern that we have? I mean, everything you said is all positive.
No, they're the way, there might be a capital cost to the town, but then you get, if there was, you would get it all back through the grant or the rebate. It's the way that it was explained to me. But, or maybe you don't have to put the money up front, but Ticonderoga got theirs, it didn't cost them anything.
Well, I think that's something we need to look into, because if I'm not mistaken, Marty, I don't think the county paid for ours either. They
I
got,
believe there's money out there to have them put in.
right.
You know, and I just think that they need to be visible. So me personally, they either gotta be at the beach, which I don't think we should have them, because that would take space up.
Exactly.
But I think the parking lot, the old bus garage, I think there's power at the old bus garage, right? There's a meter there.
I don't know if it's there anymore. Down by the Methodist, I'm not sure of that.
What do you mean by the old bus garage? You mean where there was the?
Used to be there.
The old bus garages?
I don't, that was beyond my time.
I don't remember that.
You fill in where the old bus garage.
Yeah, it's a church parking lot.
The Wesleyan.
Yeah, it's in the church parking lot.
Wesleyan
Exactly.
church parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think if we do anything, we really need to pursue what we could do with the grant dollars, because I'm not in favor of laying, and personally, I think 2 is sufficient for the size of our town. I can't see that we need, Ticonderoga has 2, and they're like how many times as large as what we are.
Yeah, that all sounds.
But I think the big thing is we really need to look into the grants and see what's out there. And I think we need to think on this for a month and say, hey, is this something we really want to move forward with? Josh has done a good job of giving us the information. But then, like I said, if we're going to move forward, then I think the only way to go is make sure we take advantage of the grants if they're out there. Because I know that's what they did at the county.
Yep.
They have 6 of them down there. So good job on that, Josh. Thank you very much. If anyone else has any questions.
And I do believe that's something I think the town should look into.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I'm saying, but I think we should look into those grants because I know they're out there.
They're there, so we just gotta find who's got them.
Yep. We get somebody to write up the grant for us. Yep, we can do that. I think it would be a step moving forward. I think that's a very good idea. So, all right, thank you kindly. So then we will then move on to new business. First, I'm looking for a resolution to approve the pay increase for the transfer station attendants to $15 an hour. I want Steve to speak to this because we had talked about this. Steve thought we had brought it to the September 30th
Right.
or
Right.
whatever, August
Right.
30th meeting, which we didn't, but I explained it and then explained why you want to do
Right.
retroactive.
We're checking with the other towns around, the rate was way low. And we mentioned to them at the transfer meeting, and we talked to the public, and again, $15 is a fair thing for when they started back at the meeting, so and Diane can make it retro back to that date. And so we need to do that for Leo, Wally, and then going forward, we want Dan Sites also to be on that $15, but we would put it back to the date of the meeting for those guys.
So they would be receiving a paycheck like for the increase for the
Right.
9th paycheck and for the
Right.
16th
Right.
paycheck.
Right.
Those are the two paychecks that we're
Right.
looking at. If the board is willing to do the increase and make it retroactive. So someone on the board needs to make that motion if that's how they want to deal with it.
Yes, I'm just gonna question, can you do that?
Yes, Diane.
Yes,
said
we
can.
checked. She said, as long as the
Right.
board makes the decision, it's not something any of us could do on our own. She can't do it. But if the board makes that decision, we can do it.
So moved.
All right, Steve made the motion, a second to the motion. Josh, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. If you're getting $15 an hour at McDonald's, I guess if you're gonna stand up at the transfer station and deal with all whatever you're dealing with up there, that's a fair.
Just have to say, I was there last Saturday. Worked pretty well having two people up there.
Yeah, Steve kind of figured that, and they're not there for the whole day though, are they? Are they
Well,
only
they
there
said
like,
that were 10 to 1,
okay, so like the 3 hours?
But it,
the rush.
but it moved people through.
Yes, it does. That, yeah, we all figured that out. While we're on that topic, I did want to mention at that transfer station meeting, we talked about metal and getting a container, and I got the number from Horkin for, was it Cohen? Steve? Cohen?
It's
Something with a C.
NHK Metals. And they call it, but it's,
Right.
I got the gentleman up there, he'll put a bin up there.
Like to have someone make a motion that we can increase that salary to $15 an hour.
So
Steve, make the motion, second to the motion. Second, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next is, I need a resolution that grants me permission to sign the contract with the town of Horton for Matthew McGee to fill the CEO position. Sylvia and I kind of got behind on that, but we finally both got it signed. So we each have our own copy, and he did start like a week ago, so I need permission to sign the contract, which I have in my possession now, so.
okay.
Steve, you're gonna make that motion?
Discussion then?
You go ahead.
Are we kind of doing what we discussed? We're splitting these services 50/50,
Absolutely.
and we're doing the cost and the insurance 50/50 also.
Yep, and they bill us. What they do, he gets a paycheck from Horkin. They figure out everything that we all benefits, you know, whatever we're paying, they send a bill, and then Diane has to make out a check. Yeah, that's exactly what we said is what we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
So, but thank you. Now, Steve made a motion. Do we have a second to the motion? Second, Marty. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. And on the back, we have a resolution dealing with the sewer. Oh, here it is. Revised warrant for collection of sewer district number 1 user fees for the year 2021. The board approved 2 sewer appeal reductions at the July 13th, 2021 meeting. And the revised warrant amount was to be collected for sewer district number 1 user fees for the town of Hague fiscal year are 316.84 EDUs at $722.58. The amount to be collected, $228,942.25. And whereas there are no changes to the warrant for sewer district number 2 user fees for the town of Hague fiscal year, the amount to be collected for sewer district number 2, $191,496.08. Be it resolved that the revised total sewer warrant amount to be collected for the year 2021 is $420,438.33. So I need someone to make that motion. Jack made a motion, a second to the motion. Second, Josh. Any discussion? That was a result of the actions that we took last month when we went over those appeals. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. I made a note in the back, we're having a special board meeting on September the 22nd at 3 o'clock. We're going to award the bid for Dot Hill. Did we get, Tim, like 6 of those turned in?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
five on the sheets.
6 turned in, Peckham being the lowest bid at $111,000.
okay, good. So then we'll be doing that, but immediately following that 3 o'clock awarding the bid, we are going to have a meeting with our attorney to discuss short-term rentals so that he will kind of give us a little direction moving forward. I have put Josh in charge of that. I'm going to give him the list of names that Steve has, people who are interested in being on the committee. But I think we need to get the direction from John, because John felt there were some things already in our ordinance so that we shouldn't kind of be trying to do this all over again. If it's already in the ordinance, then we needed to deal with that. So,
Steve, just make mention, I was reviewing your folder that I got today. I didn't find a list of names. I found a list of the attendees. I don't know if that's what you meant.
I'll take a look at it.
yeah, let Steve look at that, because he made that list. I don't know what happened there. Anybody else? I'm sorry, Pat, did you have anything you wanted to say other than to announce your?
Well, no, because I did, well, because you guys brought up the knotweed, and when I brought that up, a couple of days ago,
Yeah.
I'm so well, into not connection, but I have another question. Because they're talking about all the stuff that goes into the lake. And every year they used to come and pull the milfoil out of our boat launch.
Yeah, they didn't.
And
do
they
it
haven't
this year.
done that. Last year they did it other places, but they never did us.
I know.
And they never did us this year. So I was just wondering if are they gonna come back and get us at
Not
some
this
point?
year, but
I
I
was gonna
spoke
say
to
not-
Wick
Did you,
and
Dave?
we're
Okay.
gonna get back on the schedule because it is a mess. I agree, and I told him that, and he agreed, so, but it's not gonna be this year.
So it'll be
Well,
next.
I just wanted to know if we were gonna get back on, because it's getting pretty nasty.
You're right, it is a mess.
Okay.
For
Anyone
sure
else
it's a
have
mess.
anything?
I agree.
Jack?
I would like to mention it, we're still looking for
Oh, yes.
a assistant Zoom coordinator, moderator to provide coverage for the entire year, so that we don't have to further ginger every meeting. We need somebody to be in there when she's not available. And some able-bodied, willing, civic-minded citizen hopefully will step up to that position, and it will be in the September Hague Chronicle also.
Well, maybe between now and then, someone will decide, hey, I could do that. I wouldn't mind, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. Steve wants to make one comment, though, about the land. Well, I'll say it too first. Steve is ending up again tomorrow working up at the landfill because both Leo and Wally have something else going on. Daniel Stites has agreed, he's retired, but said he'd be willing to help out up there. So tomorrow he's going to be working with Steve. So I think what Steve wants to say to you is, we can't find people.
Yeah, we put ads in the paper. You know, one guy was incompetent, one guy never responded. I called him 3 times, you know. There's nobody in town that wants, we put the transfer station, we had applications out there, nobody filled one out. The problem is, the people working there are not the youngest people in town, and it's getting very difficult for them to continue to do so. If we don't have younger people, I don't know what we're gonna do. But we've advertised and the pay is right in line with what the other places are doing, so it's a situation where we need to get some help fast, otherwise I don't know what we're gonna do.
Or if we run into a situation like this again, like nobody can work on a Wednesday, don't be surprised if last minute you hear the landfill's closed today, we
Yeah,
can't find
yeah,
anybody to
yeah.
cover it.
Right.
You know, we'll try,
I mean, other towns do that, so.
oh, do
Yeah,
they?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
tomorrow I'm gonna go up and my leg is killing me.
yeah, you've
still.
had trouble with that, so,
Well,
and that's what I say, we can only do what we can do. If we can't get people to work, you can't just pick
Right,
somebody from
right,
off the
right.
street and say, come do it. Pat?
Okay, so I just have a question. You're gonna have 3 people, right? If you take Andy, that's gonna be 3 people, right? Correct?
What's your question?
If you hire Andy, right, that's still gonna have 3 people. So it's getting
That's
to the
correct.
winter, so if you go to one person at the transfer station, everybody will kind of get a break. Because it would be, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't know if those people are still gonna wanna work there.
Yeah, see, when
As
we get to be
age
that
creeps
age,
up.
we're saying maybe they just
I'm
want to.
just trying to get,
I know, we understand what you're saying, but we need to get younger people.
oh, I agree, I
Right,
just
right,
gotta
and there's
find.
no applications coming in for younger people.
Doesn't matter what it is for, though.
But the fire department's going.
I know, I mean, there's
You do,
nobody
yeah.
around, so, you know, the situation at these other places, the other towns have a lot younger staff. And so the question is
What do we
if we
do?
don't get some younger staff, and these other guys are not in the right frame of mind to continue, what are we gonna do? There's the
So
question.
we do have a quandary. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Jack made a motion, second by Steve. All those in favor, aye. Marty, I just want to mention one thing to you, that meeting that we have, you probably should get that checked out.
Put the lights on it.
Yeah, you should have us. Meeting-
Well, I just, yeah, I don't do that.